I would like to talk now about how I became a believer, how God saved me. So, its story begins a long time ago when I left Poland. I was born in Poland, and I was Catholic, uh, thinking that everything is okay with me regarding God, that because I'm a Catholic, I'm on a good term with God. I never killed anybody or steal anything, so anything major. Or I never committed any deadly sin, so I thought everything is fine. I never put too much thought about it to that until when I came to America, uh, to the place where I am now. Uh, I live in Sarasota, Florida. I'm a jeweler, so I used to work in a in a mall, at the jewelry store at the mall, and there was a um, I had a my bench on which I worked, like a movable. So every morning I was pulling it out at the door, so everybody walking by at the mall could see me working. So people were stopping by, talking to me, looking at my work. So I could engage in conversations. So it was until one day there was a young guy who came around, and we started to talk, and we kind of became friendly. So, and he used to come several times after that. So, and he told me that he's a rapper. He's a rapper, and so I asked him, "Can you rap for me something?" And so he started to sing, and I realized that he's singing about Jesus. So I was shocked, but cool. Everybody were watching. I was listening, and it was a very nice little concert we had in the store. And after that, we start talking about God, and he came a couple more times, and he started to talk to me about God, about things that actually shook my heart. I never heard those things that he was telling me. I thought I know everything about God. I thought I know Jesus. I thought I know about sin and all this. But all of a sudden, he started to tell me things that were totally strangely different than I heard in Catholic Church. So it triggered in me this interest of getting deeper into it. So I started to study. I started to read Bible. And also I started to look into different religions. I started to read Quran, and then looking into Buddhism and some Hinduism and all those kind of religions. But very quickly I realized that only Bible makes most sense. So I kind of narrowed to reading Bible, and that was a time when I actually stopped working at that mall, and I became a jeweler for a very exclusive store in Sarasota, in San Armand, which is like on a beach. There is like a little circle, and there's stores around it, and right there was like a two-story, very expensive jeweler. And I got work. I got a job there, so I was working there. And because he didn't want me to do anything else but serve customers, there was not many customers. There were some rich customers, but not very often. So I had a lot of time on my hands. So, and he was okay if I read, listen to radio, whatever. I just needed to be available whenever he needed me. So that was fine with me, and that was great actually, because I started to read Bibles and listening to radio and all those things, and So I first read a Polish Bible because that was the closest to my language, I mean to my heart. And then I started to read English children's Bible just to have a grasp on English version. And then I started to read this old version King James Bible, having like a dictionary in one hand and a Bible in the other. And I I had time, so I could do that. And after the third or fourth time I read the Bible, I started to realize that my heart gets on fire, gets like so emotional, and I started to understand that I'm starting to see God so strongly that I cannot stop thinking about Him. So I remember one day I went to lunch, and there was on the bay, there was like on the shore, there was like a huge rock. So I went on the rock. I was sitting there crying and praying, asking God to show me why is He so touching my heart, and what is His will, what He wants me to do. Because I thought I know God, know Jesus, but I didn't really love Him, but something was pushing my heart towards God. So this unrest, and I decided that after work, there was weekend, so the weekend was coming, so I decided that after work I would go fishing, and I will think more about God, and maybe God will show me what to do. And that's what happened. I went home, ate dinner, and I went fishing. And so that was before sunset, so it was still light outside. And I went into the water, and the rain started, and then the lightning. So I went under the bridge, was standing in the water to my waist, and the rain was, pouring, and tenders and all this, and I was crying like crazy, and crying and yelling and screaming to God to save me, to show me Himself, to show me Christ. That, I mean, I was just pouring my heart to God. And as soon as I get out of the water, I started to feel this joy, this calmness in my heart. And the thing changed. I started to feel a love for Jesus, and I loved Jesus, and I wanted more. I wanted to get to know Him better. So I started to decided that I would go to the church and get to know God better. So I started to go to these Catholic churches. Several. I went to one and I didn't get what I wanted. I get to another. I changed few churches, the Catholic churches, and I wasn't getting anything that would feed my soul. And I realized that not only this, I also realized that there's so much unbiblical stuff in Catholic Church that I decided I have to leave Catholic Church, because I needed Christ and I wasn't getting any, so I needed to find church that would actually give me the truth. So I decided to go to start to search for Protestant churches, and finally I found a church that I am in it now for over 16 years, and this is a Reformed Baptist church, and this is very important to be in Reformed church. Reformed church is the closest to the core teachings of the Bible, to the core doctrines. So if anybody looks for the church, look for Reformed church. It must be Reformed to be the closest to the teaching that is possible. So this is my story. That's how God ignited my heart. That's how God directed me towards Him, and that's how I found Him. And Now I know the difference is before and now. Now I know I love God. I love to read His Word. I love to think about Him. I love to talk to you about God because God is my life. And there is nothing more important than God to me now. Jesus is my God. This is my story.